few complaints in the game. It's just a little bit tricky to jump on them, even though like they're going down, because when it goes down, you're in the air for a split second. You won't be able to quickly jump off of it sometimes when you want to. Now, as you've already seen during the course of the run, that I do avoid a lot of the enemies. They're pretty easy to jump over, and usually it's quicker just to go ahead and jump over them instead of actually taking them out. Now, as we reach the end here, we have completed Area 4. Now, this is one of the tougher bosses to deal with. He stays pretty much on you. He keeps following you back and forth. No matter where you are, he's basically on you the entire time. He doesn't have a pattern of his own. After a few seconds, though, thankfully, he jumps to the ceiling. I recommend you can get out the dynamite for the first time that we're really using it in a boss battle, and when you jump, you'll be able to throw it at him and do multiple hits to him, usually doing 1 or 2 full things of damage to him, and you'll be able to finish him off rather quickly once he gets up there. Just make sure that you have enough health to deal with him when he's on the ground level with you. Now, for completing Area 4, we get the remote control bolo weapon, which is a weapon that we shoot out, and it actually keeps attacking enemies over and over again until it defeats them, and then comes back to you. It lasts for a good amount of time. It can definitely help you when defeating some enemies if they have some distance on you, like above you, on a platform that you need to get to them. However, its one downside is it is a pretty weak overall attack and will take multiple hits usually to kill most enemies in the game. Now, Area 5 is actually the longest in the game. We'll have 2 sections of it, similar to what we had earlier on, with a section like this, and then we'll have a section where we have to go from the bottom to the top again. It also is our last level. We do have an Area 6, which contains only the final boss battle. Now, throughout this part, the biggest problem is obviously going to be those moving spikes, which really aren't that overall difficult when maneuvering around through your jumps. Take your time when making through this area, and you should be actually able to make it through without taking any damage from them. When we reach the end, we will now move on to the second part, where we will have to go from the bottom to the top again. Now, this is a much longer area than the previous one that we dealt with before, and some of the enemies can definitely be pretty treacherous. Those ones that are hanging from the hooks that we swing from can be very annoying, so you have to take them out before you're going to be able to jump onto that platform. On some of them, for example, like this one, you can see when hanging we actually do a kick move. So move to the edge of the platform, do the kick to take out the enemy, and then jump to that platform. What's interesting is many of the stages in the game overall weren't too long. However, they decided to add most of the length to this stage. Maybe they were working on 2 separate stages and decided to make Area 5 just the final stage and instead of giving Area 6 an actual level, but this stage is easily the longest in the entire game. If you continue moving up, watch out for the spike here on the right wall, then climb on it, climb up a little bit, go across these conveyor belt areas. Be careful to make sure that you're far enough over so that when you jump you'll be actually able to land on the next one. Now here, you gotta go all the way up, drop down, then move your way to the right, and then head back up. Now we start to see a little bit of the ice platforms. Be careful on these platforms especially since there is ice. Just make your jump pretty quickly to get off of them. The ice isn't too bad here, thankfully, since there is a wall, so this is easy to get up. You can use different amounts of your weapons that you have gained through the course of the game to take out the enemies before attempting to make certain jumps. Now this area right here is a lot more of the jumps, a little bit difficult to traverse overall. Make your jumps through each and every one of them carefully. As you can see, some of them are a pain because you can't necessarily always see where the hook is going to be above your head, so you kind of have to just jump up straight, wait for the screen to scroll upwards before you're making your attempt at some of them. Now here is our last little bit. And we drop down, and now that is the end of area number 5. Now this boss is the first really huge boss that we faced. You can swing on the front there, and then as you can see, you can get on top of it, and then when you duck down near it, you can start punching, and when it opens up, you can do damage to it. If you have a lot of health, you can just stay on here, keep punching at it. The amount of damage it'll do to you is very minimal, or you can jump to avoid it if you like. But you should be able to easily take him out even with taking the damage from the one projectile he does shoot out, so it ends up making for a really easy boss. After defeating him, we'll get another cutscene, and then we'll actually have our final battle of the game.